certified crypto vampire stream. And I also realized I didn't have sound out of the gate. And I'm running about 30 seconds ahead of you guys. So right about now, you guys are probably saying, no sound, no sound. Anyway, we got it sorted. We are good to go. Thank you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, got a fun show I threw together for you guys tonight. And we're going to get down to it all, boppers. We're going to be talking about all things Elon tonight, and that's going to be the sole focus of the show. So before we get started, if I could just ask you to hit that like button. It takes a split second of your time, doesn't cost you a dime. Number one thing you can do to help this channel out and help it get through those YouTube algorithms, etc. Also, if you're brand new here, I'd like to personally welcome you. You're watching Steele Live. I am, of course, Steele, and it's great to have you with us. And feel free to subscribe, hit all on that notification bell, and ascend with us to the moon, Mars, and beyond. Who do we got active in the chat this late evening? We've got the Swift Lipinski. Good to see you. Keith, of course. Good to see you. Alan Schneider. The Upcoin account, good to see you. Bass Fisher, Northwoods Peachtree, RW, Bang Stun, everybody bang stun tonight. Emperor Doge, Audio Freak, Hunter Wayne, yes, Hunter Wayne. Louis Doge Millie, good to see you. Am I missing anyone else? Low Roller Scratcher, yes. Xena is the business, good to see you. It's a fun name. Luminal, haven't seen you in a bit. Good to see you back in the mix. Luminal. Zombie Doge Army. I was wondering if you were hanging out there. And Northwoods Peachtree starting things off right and out of sight with the first super chat of the night for $4.99. I love it. By the way, guys, feel compelled to super chat anywhere throughout the duration of this broadcast. It really helps make it possible for me to do the streams that I do. Everyone send Steven a $5 super chat, says Northwoods Peachtree. Well, I'm not going to argue with that, but no pressure, gang, no pressure. But thank you for starting things off, Northwoods Peachtree. Always hugely appreciated for the support. Guys, a lot going on, particularly with Elon shaking up the paradigm. Absolutely shaking up the paradigm, shaking up the narratives, challenging business as usual, challenging the establishment, and it is pretty wild to see. And I have never seen such opinionated, a flurry rather of opinionated tweets from Elon, perhaps than I have seen over this last 24 hours. And we're going to talk about all that. We're going to talk about all that tonight. I'd love to get your guys' thoughts on it as well. Let me go to my notes here. First up, USA Today now reporting. Oh, I don't know if you guys saw this. This is kind of interesting. Elon Musk offers $5,000 to teen to stop tracking his private jet location on Twitter. Elon Musk reached out to a 19-year-old over Twitter on a DM to ask him to stop tracking his flights, according to a report by Protocol. Since June 2020, the Twitter handle ElonJet has been tracking Elon Musk's private jet with a bot using public data from the Federal Aviation Administration. ElonJet will regularly provide updates on the location of the jet, for example, saying that it landed in Austin after a 6-hour flight, etc. The account has over 100,000 followers and regularly gets several hundred likes per tweet. Jack Sweeney, a college freshman of the University of Central Florida, runs the account. According to screenshots from Sweeney that he sent to USA Today, the first message Musk sent said, "Can you take this down? It's a security risk." Sweeney explains that the project is something he's dedicated a lot of time to and never intended to create a security concern. He also jokes that he would in an exchange for a Model 3 car. Yeah, he jokes. He's not joking. He's actually floating that out there. When a 19-year-old kid that started a Twitter account called, Elon's Flights or whatever, and he says he's joking, he's not joking. He would absolutely exchange taking the Twitter account down for a Model 3. Musk proceeds to ask Sweeney if it is able to pull it off and how much it would cost to get rid of the account. Sweeney and Musk exchanged messages back and forth, with Musk offering $5,000 and Sweeney countering with $50,000 to help pay for school and a car. Wow. um, people have different thoughts about this. Some people say, well, Musk is a multi-billionaire, so what's 50K to him? I can see that point of view. But on the other hand, I agree with the Elon. This is a security risk that this kid's doing, putting all his personal travel information and his location out there. Someone particularly of the magnitude and spotlight as Elon Musk, this is a tremendous security risk, and I don't blame him for messaging this kid. And granted, the kid's probably 19, and maybe he doesn't understand the gravity of what he's doing there. But I'm not a legal expert, but I would think that there may be legal grounds to do something about this. So I would probably just take the 5K and have a joke about it, make friends with Elon, and call it a day. But interesting story. Zombie Doge Army coming in with a $5 super chat. Appreciate you, Zombie. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thanks you so much for the super chat. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Who do you think's in the right or in the wrong there? Next one comes courtesy of CNBC. Elon Musk says it's more important for Tesla to make a robot than new car models this year. The Tesla bot is the most important product that Tesla is developing this year, Elon Musk said Wednesday on a fourth quarter earnings call, putting it ahead of the Cybertruck and other vehicles, including the Semi and the Roadster. The robot, code named Optimus, has the potential to be more significant than the whole vehicle business over time, Musk said. The robot is an example of Musk's showmanship, in which he announces that Tesla is working on exciting projects scheduled for years into the future that will help to energize employees, customers, and investors. I think it has the potential to be even more significant than the vehicle business, Musk said over time. That he spoke of the robot, which is the code name for the robot is Optimus. Of course it is. Of course it's Optimus. Of course, every time that I hear Optimus, I can't think to help with that. Sorry. I literally, you guys, I have a low-level dyslexia in my head, and it jumbles the words that I want to say. And some nights it affects me more than others, and tonight it's really going to be getting to me. So when I hear Optimus, the first thing I think of is Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime. And I collected Transformers as a youngster. And the competitor to Transformers at the time was another robot, car-to-robot toy series called the GoBots. And I think technically the GoBots were first, and they were a Japanese venture, if I recall correctly. So what are you guys thinking of these Tesla AI robots? I think it's exciting and unnerving at the same time when we actually start to see these things start to walk around. And they did a lot of studies on human behavior in regards to what people wanted to see in these high-functioning AIs. And what they realized that people wanted to see is they didn't want AIs that were too lifelike. They didn't want AIs that looked too much like us, because it had kind of a very unnerving effect on psychologically on people. And they call that, tech scientists call this the uncanny valley. That's a specific term they made up, or a specific term that they created essentially to define this area in AI technology wherein something looks superhuman-like, but just enough is off that it makes you feel kind of on edge. They call that the uncanny valley. So in order to avoid AI development and falling into the uncanny valley, now they decided that probably the better way to pivot the aesthetics of AIs is to make them more robot-like, essentially. So it's very clear to us in the human eye and our perception abilities, it becomes very clear to us who the AIs are and who the humans are. I think that's probably a good idea, though inevitably we know that this technology won't stop there. People are going to want real human lifelike companions and other things, and I think we know where that's going to go. But as far as the majority of AIs that we see every day, I don't think most people want ones that look a lot like humans. I think many of us have seen too many science fiction films to know how that usually ends up. So Yeah, that was another very, very interesting statement. Again, this is I'm going to be talking about Elon the whole night tonight, guys. There's just so much going on revolving around Elon Musk, and there's just so much news to get to about it. So I'm just gonna keep covering it here, and it's great to have all you folks here. It's about 1 a.m. in my neck of the woods. That means you're going at about 11 p.m. rather, if you're on that West Coast. If you're out on the East Coast or in Florida, you are truly a Doge After Darker, hanging on at about 2 a.m. But speaking of which, not everyone is in the United States that views this show, and one of them is Erectile Reptile, longtime viewer, certainly not a first-time super chatter, but a great addition to this community. Erectile Reptile coming in at $10 to make you holler. Good afternoon, Stephen. Ask your mom. Somebody, I was feeling a bit spicy on Twitter. I was feeling a bit sassy this evening on Twitter. So if you want to know what that's in reference to, you gotta check my Twitter. Also, I officially moved to Indiana. Then why are you telling me good afternoon, Erectile Reptile? Well, welcome to Indiana. I have definitely passed through Indiana, through the general Chicago sphere a number of times. Thankfully, it's much better in New York. Yeah, the trajectories, right? You know who else is moving to Indiana, Erectile Reptile, is Vandita. Whatever her name is, it's eluding me right now. But I'm sure you guys know who I'm speaking of. She's a famous tattoo artist in LA. Kind of like a pinup girl kind of aesthetic. Anyway, she's selling her big mansion in LA. She says she's had enough of Los Angeles. She's had enough of the trajectory of the culture and the economy there, and she's relocating to like a huge ranch house in rural Indiana. Yeah. Thankfully, it's much better in New York. Fact, top 10% of drinkers account for 60% of all alcohol consumed in the U.S. Now, that is something I didn't know 5 seconds ago, Erectile Reptile, and I thank you for it. That is wild. That means, my goodness, the level of alcohol consumption going on there at that top 10% is, quite extraordinary, to put it mildly. Let's see. Let's go to the next story here. Fox News reporting, among other news outlets, Elon Musk says Biden treats Americans like fools after president meets with GM and Ford executives on electric cars. It's not the first time Musk has taken shots at Biden. Biden invited GM CEO Mary Barra and Ford CEO Jim Farley to the White House, along with other business leaders, to discuss the administration's $1.75 trillion Build Back Better legislation, which has stalled in the evenly split Senate after U.S. Senator Joe Manchin refused to support the legislation. The massive spending bill would bump a $7,500 tax credit to a $12,500 for union-made electric vehicles, and would also make GM and Tesla eligible for existing tax credit again after they hit the 200,000 vehicle limit for the credit. Biden touted GM's recent $7 billion investment into Michigan to ramp up electric vehicle production. Companies like GM and Ford are building more electric vehicles here at home than ever before, Biden said. Or tweeted after a meeting, prompting a response from Musk that Biden was treating the American public like fools. Musk also tweeted that Biden is a damp sock puppet in human form. Starts with a T and ends with an A. ESL in the middle. Of course, this isn't the first time that Musk has taken shots at Biden. The electric vehicle pioneer said in September that the administration was maybe a little biased and seemed to be controlled by the unions. The big three U.S. automakers, GM, Ford, and Stellantis, are the largest employers in the United Auto Workers Union. Yeah, this is pretty interesting. This is not the first time that this current president has overtly slighted and ignored Elon Musk and Tesla in general when discussing and platforming the future of environmentally friendly vehicles and electric vehicles, which is really pretty extraordinary considering that Tesla, hands down, is responsible for the overwhelming majority of electric vehicles on American roads. I think it's to the tune of over 3/4 of all electric vehicles on American roads are actually Teslas. So if you look just at the data of who is really contributing the most to lessening the carbon footprint as it relates to automobiles, that would be Tesla, hands down. Yet Tesla is continuously omitted from these EV conferences and gatherings pulled together by this current administration. It's baffling, but it's not. It also can't help but wonder when our current president pontificates about his environmental concerns and his commitment to the environment. In my opinion, someone that truly harbors a strong commitment to the environment isn't going to let something like a little bit of personal spat or a little bit of social media beef or something like the way so maybe some opinion differences in the way Tesla runs its operations in terms of unions get in the way of that progress, you see. So, but clearly the president is willing to let that get in the way and will not credit and will not include Tesla in any of these meetings and gatherings, and certainly won't give Elon any credit there. And, to be fair, the current president did kind of start this first, right? He had this big summit at the White House and invited the CEO of GM and Ford and purposely omitted Elon from that invitation and Tesla altogether. And this was specifically about the future of electric vehicles. So how are you going to have a summit on the future of electric vehicles in the United States and not even invite Tesla and then, pretend that you care about lowering carbon emissions as it relates to automobiles? It doesn't make any sense since, again, Tesla is responsible for over 3/4 of the electric vehicles on the roads in America. Now, let's see what's going on in the chat. What's good? Mama Crypto, good to see you. Good to see you. Mama, better late than never. I know she's a third shifter. She's out there doing it to it. Hunter Wayne, I got my Robinhood wallet tonight. Yes, the first batches of Robinhood wallets have gone live for select users. I am not one of them yet, but people have been trying them out, specifically the Doge wallets, and so far so good. So we've moved from beta testing to the very first batch of rollout for the people got registered earlier than others, and so this is great news. I've been seeing screenshots of this and completed transactions, etc. So that is exciting. Good to know, Hunter Wayne. I'm like way down there. I'm like 450,000 or something. Good morning, my man, Steven Steele, Captain Jack. Yes, and Louis Doge Millie. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Greetings, y'all. Have a good weekend. You as well, sir. Appreciate that. Otter Paul Farms. Biden is just too pro legacy auto. They are the folks he's built relationships with for 40 plus years. He will ignore Elon until he's out of office. Yes, more than likely. I would concur with that. Yeah, he has built up long-standing relationships with these specific captains of industry over the last 40 years, people that have, and companies that have filled his coffers over the years, and of course, consequentially, those are going to be the people first on the list that he's going to essentially promote, right? And Tesla has been around a fraction of the time that those other companies have, so they're not going to get the same kind of attention and promotion from the current administration. Consequentially, in a sense, it's kind of a rigged racket. I think more and more people are seeing through all of this rigged racket. as we continue to see the legacy media essentially break down, essentially fracture on a day-to-day basis now. More people are waking up, and they are just they're just over it, man. They're just over it. I tell you what, I've expressed this before, but if you were currently a regular consumer of cable news, legacy news, televised news rather, and you stop, and I would challenge you to stop for a full 6 weeks, and perhaps get your news sources from a variety of sources rather online. And then when you go back, when you take about a 6-week break and you go back and you flip on one of these channels, it seems so outrageously dumbed down and so outrageously hyperbolic while being simultaneously idiotic. And it's only something you can clearly see once you take a long enough break from it, when you re-enter it, because then you quickly realize how many independent reporters, journalists, and sources there are out there that will offer much more thoughtful, complete, unbiased reporting and information that are at your fingertips on your phone and your computer, right? And so we are seeing the continuation of this. Elon Musk not only challenging many of the narratives of the legacy media, but also challenging the narratives of challenge the narratives of the mainstream media narratives and stories and the way they want us to perceive things. He's pushing back on all of that, and we are seeing this fracture. That's why also we are seeing such a hissy fit thrown by the establishment against someone like Joe Rogan, because in reality, Joe Rogan runs a pretty vanilla show. I mean, he talks to a wide variety of people, anyone from Bernie Sanders to Russell Brand to Ben Shapiro and Sam Harris, etc. And he ends up just having a variety of long-form conversations with different kinds of people with a certain level of intellectual prowess, or at least people that have very interesting stories and testimonies of survival to bring to that table. And so it's what the legacy media is trying to convince you right now, that Joe Rogan's very dangerous, right? It's very dangerous, and it's really funny to see because it's very overblown in my opinion, very hyperbolic. It reminds me of when I was a kid. There used to be Al Gore's wife, Tipper Gore. She had this organization that she started called the PMRC, and the acronym stood for Parents something. I forget what the acronym stood for, but it was essentially an organization for parents to crack down on music that they deemed to be inappropriate, and they felt that this had just such a overwhelmingly toxic effect on essentially possessing children, right, to become bad people. And their main targets were like heavy metal music and like Prince, as I recall. Heavy metal and Prince. They usually were their main targets, and it was really just ridiculous. And if you look back on that footage now, it sounds very ridiculous and very dated and very silly. And I think I'm seeing similar parallels right now to how the mainstream media, legacy media rather, is trying to present Joe Rogan. And I do think that time will vindicate a guy like Joe Rogan in the future. When we look about 10, 15 years in the future, we're going to look back on all this hyperbole and demonizing of Joe Rogan now, and I think it's going to be quite laughable. Well, I certainly hope it's going to be. So it's interesting, and furthermore, there's been more and more reports of Elon Musk spending a lot of time with Joe Rogan. So they're both in the Lone Star State. So I think they're probably spending more time than many of us together than many of us realize, and or at least in contact with each other than more of us realize. And this kind of spills over into Elon Musk's Twitter account. So I'm going to go there right now because it's been an extraordinary firestorm over the last day, folks. I mean, really, Elon retweeting our friend It's All Risky. It's All Risky. If you're lurking, where you been, man? Where you been? It's All Risky used to watch this show nearly every night, but I understand life takes its turns, and certainly it's taken a turn on me recently. I was streaming almost every night, 6-7 nights a week. As you've noticed, I've dropped off a little bit, and now I'm streaming maybe about 4 nights a week. That's because I've been working my butt off to get my business back into shape, and I pretty much resurrected it from the dead. And there's just a lot of operations that I've had to focus on and expend my energy on, but I'm getting that. Once I get that back up and rolling in a more organized fashion, I think that I'll be able to stream more regularly again. So in case some of you were wondering why I haven't been streaming quite so much lately. So Elon Musk retweeting our friend It's All Risky. Gosh, it's pretty difficult to even say what's going on here because this current platform that I'm on right now has some pretty rigid terms of service about it. So it's basically a meme. It's kind of like a Lord of the Rings meme that essentially conveys the message of a government abusing what it calls emergency powers. And the thing is, once the emergency is over, history shows us that the government oftentimes will not pull back on that overreach of temporary power that they asserted during an emergency. And what that ends up happening is, obviously, it erodes people's liberties when government does that and doesn't retract those temporary measures. I can understand temporary measures going into place during certain times of crisis and perhaps war, etc. But then, once those times are over, we need to re-examine these emergency measures and see if they are going to still be applicable long term. Unfortunately, as history has shown us, government will rarely rescind the power grab that they established during times of emergency, and they end up becoming permanent. I think the most notable example that stands out to me is George W. Bush's first term. He enacted the Patriot Act. I think there was only one senator, U.S. senator, that voted against the Patriot Act, a guy that was named Russ Feingold, actually from Wisconsin. Russ Feingold was the only one, and this is also the Patriot Act, is the piece of legislation that Edward Snowden was so vehemently against and spoke out against. But that lasted long after, and most aspects of the Patriot Act are still with us today as a consequence of what was sold to us to be just a temporary measure in the early 2000s. I know I'm going on some really long tangents here this evening, so I hope you're still with me on this. Let's see what's going on in the chat. I'm looking for a 20x rather than investing in Doge. Manju, we're all looking for the 20x, Manju. We're all looking for that 20x. Here's the thing. You can find those 20x's, guys, but the thing is, where they are you're talking about high risk, high reward scenarios, something I've talked about many times on here. You can risk it for the biscuit. You can do it to it. And I've seen people in this community do it, but just understand that high risk, high reward. I can't emphasize enough the high risk, because you can lose your money overnight, never to regain it. Many times the projects that are going to 20x you in a short period of time, they're all kind of a one and done. See, a one and done. So obviously what you want to do is sell off during the one before it's done, my friend. So they're out there. You just got to be careful, and you got to watch that stuff very closely. Larry Ramirez says, thanks for going live tonight, Stephen. You're very welcome. Thanks for joining me. Crypto Tank Girl's back. Good to see you. Who else? Not My President coming in with a $2 super chat. $2 super chat. So what I could say is I see your super chat and I've read it, and I get it. The thing is that this particular platform has very stringent terms of service policies about how we speak about that particular election. But thank you for your super chat. Thank you for tuning in. Not my president. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I transferred all my Doge to the Grimace coin, got rug pulled, and lost it all. Did Grimace coin get rugged? Did Grimace coin get rugged? That was another thing I was going to get to tonight. Yeah, so we saw like the fast food wars. We saw McDonald's take a big leap out. What appeared to be an online relationship of really cozying up and endearing themselves to the Doge community, the Doge mascot. It really seemed like they're kind of trending in the direction that it seemed like a fair likelihood that McDonald's could accept Doge. Elon Musk then tweeting out a few days ago, if McDonald's accepts Dogecoin, I will eat a Happy Meal on TV. So how do you suppose McDonald's replied to a tweet that epic? How do you suppose they replied? I'll tell you, folks. I'll tell you how they replied. It's just unbelievable. They tweeted out, only if Tesla accepts Grimace coin. And obviously, I know they probably meant it as a lighthearted joke, but what a tremendous missed opportunity. What a tremendous misstep. Here, the world's wealthiest man and probably the most well-known man on the planet offers to eat a Happy Meal on TV, essentially endorsing McDonald's for no charge. And that's how McDonald's responds. And of course, it didn't take long. Within the hour, Grimace token was conceived. I even thought about throwing a little money into it because I knew it was going to apex for a few hours there. But what held me back was the fact that it's an ERC20. I'm not very fond of investing in ERC20s because of all the gas fees involved. You got to pay gas to get in. You got to pay gas to get out. So essentially, you have to triple your money most of the time just to even break even on your initial investment. So I just rather not deal with all that. And you look at the odds and that stuff. I mean, overall, it's a no for me for ERC20s. Now, ones that are set on the Binance Smart Chain are another matter altogether because those fees are so minuscule by comparison. I think it's a safer bet if you're going into more risky, low market cap opportunities like that, because with BNB, it's cheap to get in, it's cheap to get out in terms of fees. So if you see things start going south and you pull that money out and you throw it back into BNB to secure those funds, you can not only do it efficiently, but you're not going to lose a lot of money doing it, provided you're keeping a close eye on matters. Let me see here. Someone says Elon Schlong. I sense that could be another coin coming. Yeah. Okay. Let's get back to Elon's tweets, guys. And guys, thank you for a few of those super chats. Super chats are hugely appreciated. Thank you. Let's see. So what else has Elon been up to on Twitter? Elon tweeting this out 7 hours ago. Get this, folks. He tweeted this: if you scare people enough, they will demand removal of freedom. This is the path to tyranny. Wow. Okay. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to know of which topic he's probably addressing there. But that it's certainly that's a statement that can apply not only to recent turns of events, but a lot of things, frankly. And then Elon tweeted out this a bit earlier, 1 hour earlier. Seems odd that the UN still hasn't released 2020 world death rates. Oh my gosh. And then earlier in the day, he tweeted out Canadian truckers rule. And for those of you who've been following the news cycle, what's happening over in Canada, large swaths of Canadian truckers have been essentially putting together protest drives and rallies where citizens that believe or agree with the sentiments of rebellion that those truckers are espousing, people are kind of supporting them in kind of parade-like fashion there. And Elon tweeting out just right before that, CB radios are free from government and media control. Elon Musk actually going wild style. I've never seen anything like this, folks. In fact, I would go so far to say, if I were to tweet many of the same things Elon has tweeted over the last 24 hours, I'd probably be looking at some sort of shadow. I'd probably be looking at some sort of shadow ban or something along those lines. But he's in the position to get away with that stuff, essentially. He walks the line. He walks the line. I think what makes him even a more convincing and influential character when it comes to voicing societal and cultural opinions is the fact that he's not overly partisan. He's just kind of an independently thinking guy. He's not easily definable by any political party or persuasion. And I think that's a really good thing. I think it endears more trust from the general public. But also I think this is a very healthy thing that we're seeing here because it kind of puts people on their heels. It kind of brings people together in an odd way, wherein you could see people from all across different kinds of opinions and political stripes that really like Elon, have a lot of respect for Elon. So I think, I think one of the most positive consequences of Elon Musk in a cultural sense is that it's really caused a lot more people to think about things in a much more independently minded way, rather than hey, this is the school of thought that I'm supposed to believe, or this is the political ideology I subscribe to, so I just believe everything on that team, right? And so I've been seeing a lot more people just kind of stepping out and thinking more independently across the board. I would even dare say, as a consequence to what Elon Musk has been adding to the public discourse, public discussion, and essentially what Elon has been adding culturally. Anyway, Keith Evans says Elon Musk is an alien. Alien. That's not the first time I've heard that. Who knows? Wouldn't that be funny if Elon, like one of Elon's last speeches, as when he's in his more golden years, a 90-year-old Elon Musk, he's at a podium and he has, I have one thing to say to you guys before I leave this planet, and it's like V. Remember the movie V, or like you click off a mask and he's actually an alien underneath. Trucking All Day coming in with a $5 super chat. What do you think happened in 2021 that made the American government say we must do something here about crypto when crypto was already 12 years old? Essentially, and thank you for the super chat, Trucking All Day. And good question. And it's something that I have thought about. Essentially, I think that it is, it's almost a good sign that we've been getting so much kick up and resistance from the establishment as it relates to crypto, because they couldn't be bothered with it before. They didn't really see it as a significant threat to their bags and their financial institutions. Now they do. It's picked up so much steam and has gone. It's on the course to becoming very mainstream, essentially. And so they're scared. They're running scared. So this is a part of the process. And I don't necessarily see it as a bad thing as much as, like I said, something that's just a part of the process on the long road to success as it relates to digital currency. And I feel very solid about the future of digital currency. Future of digital currency, future of Bitcoin, future of Dogecoin, etc. Let's see what else Elon is up to. And then he tweeted a little bit before that, maple syrup. Maple syrup as a kind of a nod to what's going on in Canada there with folks, certain citizens rebelling against what the government is imposing. Just wild, just wild. And again, Elon on January 25th, that'd be almost 3 days ago, tweeting, I will eat a Happy Meal on TV if McDonald's accepts Dogecoin. Awesome tweet. And then who's ever running the McDonald's Twitter account, absolutely huge swing and a miss, completely whiffing that opportunity. It's baffling just how much they squandered that. Elon Musk also tweeting about I have a feeling that the gerrymandering will not work as well as they think in relation to what someone was referring to fixed elections, so to speak. So very interesting, lot of interesting commentary from Elon. Like I said, I've never seen such spicy, opinionated commentary from Elon in a 24-hour cycle as I have in this last day. Just extraordinary, extraordinary. Fortune magazine reporting, Elon Musk tweets support for the Freedom Convoy of truckers protesting Canada's mandates. Elon Musk voiced his support for the so-called Freedom Convoy of Canadian truckers and other activists on their way to Ottawa to protest the country's mandates and other control measures. Canadian truckers rule, said the Tesla chief executive officer on Thursday in a tweet, a clear nod to the convoy that's been picking up attention around the world. Truckers have drawn the praise of Donald Trump Jr. and featured on Fox News in the U.S. It's unclear how many trucks will actually make it to the Canadian capital for the weekend protests, but the convoy slowed by winter weather conditions in northern Ontario. Police reports along its path suggest the number is in the hundreds, much lower than supporters' claims of thousands of vehicles en route. The rest of this article, I just kind of got to cool it on due to terms of service on this platform. Sacramento Bee now just reporting 1 hour ago, this is hot off the presses, you should be voted out of office. Elon Musk tweets about California elected officials. Elon Musk waded into California state politics with a tweet against State Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara on Thursday. It started when Laura sent out a tweet about Musk on Thursday afternoon. It said this: yesterday, Elon Musk reportedly told investors he's pushing very hard to change the rules on telematics for California drivers. Push all you want, but we won't bend on protecting consumer data, privacy, and fare rates, Laura wrote. Musk responded with, you should be voted out of office. Just... Elon is wilding out, man. He's just wilding out. It's not the first time Musk has got embroiled in a Twitter feud with a California elected official. In May of 2020, then Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez tweeted, F Elon Musk, to which Musk replied, message received. And then shortly thereafter, as you recall, the SpaceX and Tesla plants relocated from California to Texas. Just wild stuff. Wild stuff, folks. What do you guys got? What do you guys think? What's going on in the chat here? Someone's talking about McDoge. Yeah. Now it seems that Burger King has been flirting with the Doge community and with the Doge memes, and so we could see Burger King kind of take the reins in the spotlight from McDonald's in pretty short order here as it relates to their relationship with Dogecoin. I would go so far as to say I would give it a much higher probability at this juncture that Burger King will be the first major fast food chain to accept Dogecoin, because they've done it on trial scenarios in select locations for select items, right? Very select items. I think like doggy treats or something, Burger King doggy treats or something along those lines. And so it wouldn't be their first rodeo, but it wouldn't be surprised me if this is something that happened within 2022. Of course, it would garnish them a lot of incredibly positive press if they did so. And frankly, I think it is very doable, particularly with very effective third parties like BitPay that much more easily makes it for large companies to be able to accept such cryptocurrencies as Dogecoin. Low roller, yes, I did. You must come in late. I talked about that earlier in the show. Pretty funny stuff. Have Doge your way. I like that, RW. I like that. I'm surprised Wendy's didn't get on the fast food Doge wars. Their Twitter manager used to be a savage. That is true. I remember, I don't know if that person's not there anymore or not, but whoever was running the Wendy's Twitter was an absolute savage. They were hilarious. The Wendy's Twitter was really funny for a while. And there goes the neighborhood. Boom, there goes the dynamite. That is my phone hitting the floor. But you know who else has been talking seriously about accepting Dogecoin is Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast's burger franchise called Mr. Beast Burgers. So Mr. Beast Burgers explicitly expressing on Twitter that if they get a retweet from Elon Musk, they will begin to take steps to accept Dogecoin. That would be cool. That'd be cool. Of course, Mr. Beast Burger, not nearly as popular as Burger King or McDonald's, but the quality of food is probably much better though as well. I'd imagine. I've never had a Mr. Beast burger, but I imagine it's pretty decent for fast food standards. Now, let's see what's going on in the chat, folks. Dojo for Doge. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Do I think that Dogecoin, we will see complete Dogecoin integration by Tesla this year? Absolutely. I think 99.9% probability there. And I would probably put it a 75% probability that this is achieved by the end of this first quarter. Very exciting times. We are seeing Robinhood wallets actually get rolled out in their first stages right now. And like I've said many times before, I do believe that's the main thing that Elon's been waiting for before, achieving total integration of Dogecoin as it relates to Tesla, are those Robinhood wallets. Elon knows very well that over 30% of all Dogecoin holders are holding their Dogecoin on Robinhood. So I think once that's complete, furthermore, I think once we see the first earnings reports as it relates to Tesla merchandise comes out, I think we are going to see some absolutely off the charts impressive numbers in terms of Dogecoin sales on merch. Now, on nearly all Tesla items that you can buy with Dogecoin in terms of merchandise have sold out. I don't know if they've restocked. They may have started restocking yet. Obviously, this is an incredibly good sign. I would wager that's probably the most merch that Tesla perhaps has ever sold, because we know the power of the Doge community, and we know just it's not very common. I mean, to be honest, for just floods of people from social media to swarm a car company's website to buy its t-shirts and hats and belt buckles. So it's a movement, folks. It's a movement, folks. So executor. What is Bitcoin? What is love, baby? Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Oh yes. So Elon Musk just absolutely being savage over the last 24 hours to the likes of which I've never seen before. I really do think that we are find ourselves will continuously find ourselves in a cultural sea shift in this country. Things are getting very interesting. And we're only a little more than 1 year in to this new administration, and people seem to be from all sides. People seem to be pretty dissatisfied, and that's always going to lead to people more prone to thinking about outside the box, looking for alternatives. So I can see companies using cryptos as a way to clear out overstocked junk, to be honest. Yeah, Richard, I think that's a pretty good point. I feel like that trick could only last so long, though. You know what I mean? And hopefully they won't. Hopefully they won't see it just as that. Hopefully they won't. It seems a little bit cynical, but I hear what you're saying, Richard. But I hope that won't be the case. Well, folks, that's about all I got for this evening. I wasn't planning on being on that long. I've got a heck of a long weekend ahead of me, and I just got to get some rest. But I've got just a tsunami of work that I've been catching up on, and once I catch up on this tsunami of work, I really do hope to get back to the regular streaming schedule, meaning streaming more often again, as I usually do. So that is my intention. Anyway, I want to appreciate each and every one of you guys for tuning in tonight. I hope you had fun. I know I did. It's always super awesome connecting with you guys. Appreciate each and every one of you. Stay positive. Keep that momentum. Keep that Doge momentum going strong. Until next time, this is your man, Real Deal, Steele, signing out. Thanks again, guys. Just the bees and birds, the summer haze.